Hello everyone, welcome to Ignition.
Hello, and today we're going to look at buying a new car in general.
Yes, so we're going to be looking at some EVs, aren't we? We don't want to look at those diesels anymore.
Well,
because that's what you'd normally buy, isn't it? You'd think out going to get a 3 Series or go and get something that's diesel, wouldn't you? But in today's day and age, it's more electric, we think, isn't it?
Well, we've had we bore everyone with our T-Cross, but we've had that for a year. Just over now. It's a year and 2 months probably. Yeah. So anyway, something like that. But if we were buying a brand new car today, I think in that 12 to 14 month period, the motoring world has completely changed, and I would not now buy a fueled car.
No, I tend to
Petrol,
agree.
Diesel, that is.
In fact, it's changed dramatically, isn't it?
In a year.
Our whole opinion on vehicles has changed a lot.
Yeah, I mean, doing this has helped us, but also the fact that you can now drive around, and it's not just us because we don't do, I mean, we do a lot more miles than most people do, but not like I used to do for work.
No.
But I could troll around the UK now in almost any electric vehicle repping.
Yeah, because they have the infrastructure, don't they? There.
Yeah, it's more or less there. So we're going to think about the UK mainly because we've got more experience, aren't we?
Yeah, and they've got, like we say, the infrastructure and.
So as you can see here.
Yeah. Pointing randomly, we're not entirely sure. There they are.
We are budgeting on 50 grand.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money for a car.
It is, but in the EV world, it's not.
Would I ask you a question though?
Okay,
yeah, but saying that though, I mean, if you went and bought because obviously we've got a selection of the cars we're going to consider here, but if I went and bought a Passat, and I bought a Passat 2-litre diesel, but with most of the toys on it,
yeah, you'd be pushing.
I'm going to be coughing. I'm surprised, but I'm going to be close to the 40. But with your own money, would you buy a fueled petrol or diesel car today?
No, probably not. No, because these have the same mileage.
If you've got to have petrol or diesel because you live in a flat or something like that, if I had to go and get a new car, I would only contract hire it.
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
Because potentially, if it continues like it is now, I foresee that in 5 years' time, electric cars will be cheaper.
Yes,
than
they'll be just the standard, won't they?
Yeah. People will stop refining petrol to the level they do now, so the price will go massively up.
High, yeah.
So an electric car will be cheaper to buy, cheaper to run, and cheaper to fuel.
Yes.
100%. No one is going to, with their own money, risk £50,000 or dollars or euros, whatever it may be, because potentially that
car will be worthless in 5-10 years.
Yeah, but you might not even be able to drive it in 10 years.
No, that's a very valid point.
We've no idea what's going to happen.
The speed, everything's changing. You could not be able to drive it in 10 years. We're not sure.
So what we've done is we've found what we like as probably 8 nice cars, which we'll look at. And depending on your lifestyle, some will fit, some won't. But we thought we'd have a look at these. So we've got some interesting cars. There'll be a timeline, if one of us remembers to do it, in the video notes, so that if you can't be bothered to listen to us anymore, you can flick through and just look at what we found on the car, because we found some quite good videos and
snippets and pictures.
So we'll start off. Let's have a look at number one. Can't remember which is number one, but let's look.
Bellissima. Now let's have a closer look. The new 500 is wider, it's longer, it has more living space than any 500 before it. The wheels are planted further out. It has more presence. It's more assertive. And more importantly, it is pure Cinquecento. Classic, iconic, and rooted in 63 years of history. So, all the iconic cues are here, just quieter, cleaner, crisper. And this is also true on the inside. Clean design, fewer buttons, essential lines. True beauty doesn't need to shout. And I love that the seat fabric is woven from plastics reclaimed from the sea. Now, speaking of the sea, look at this. This cute little pebble. Well, it's actually not a pebble. It's a key fob, designed to feel natural, relaxing, eco-sustainable. Definitely another conversation piece.
Well, blimey.
So he's got, the interesting bit there is he's got that lump of corian as a key.
Yes.
I haven't decided whether I like it or hate it.
I think Luckily, you don't actually have to use it as a key. It's
Well, you
just,
can't.
No, it's just keyless go. So I think as an aesthetic piece, it looks nice.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think if you had to actually get a key out of it and use it, it wouldn't be nice. But I think as a key, it's like a key ring, isn't it? More.
Yes, I'm assuming it's going to be a lump of corian.
Yes.
So it's not a stone.
No, I wonder how heavy it actually is.
Can't be that heavy.
You wouldn't have thought
No.
so, because
I like it. The fact they've done something different, we like it.
And they've added quite a lot of class to this model, I think, compared to the last generation.
Well, behind the camera just down there is Freddie, our Fiat. So I'm very biased. Love that car. Do think I'll own that car.
Yeah, you think you want one of
I'm pretty
those?
convinced that will be my daily driver in 3 years' time. It's that or a Panda.
I do think they've really done well with the design of it. They've just added quality, which is what we've said about our last generation Fiat 500 we've got.
Yeah, so we've got some pictures of the inside, and we've got some pictures, some stats. We won't go through too much of the stats.
No,
you can pause it, but the gist of it is 42 kilowatt hour battery and 0 to 60 in around 9 seconds, and it's going to do 250 kilometres, which is what, 150, 160 miles.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more than enough.
Which it is a design city car, so that's more than enough.
I mean, we use ours on the motorway.
We do
with the roof
sometimes,
down as well. It's fine, isn't it?
That's great, really. Yeah,
it's great.
Good little car.
But the inside, I think that the difference that they've made over ours is the quality of any chance.
Oh yes, sorry, I was.
Any chance of the pictures? Here they are. The inside is just it just looks like it's a much higher level vehicle. So I think if you're a city dweller, occasional long run, I think that Fiat's an absolutely top notch vehicle.
It does ooze class, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The drive buttons there, you can see on the dashboard, the park, revert, it just all looks, it's all clean. The whole dashboard sweeps and it just looks very nice. Simple but sweet.
If I was going to find fault with it, they haven't left a knob. You've got buttons, so you've got that. Your Mitsubishi does it, where you've got to sit and press the button. That just irritates me.
It is annoying, yes.
And I know little things irritate me, but that...
A simple, just a twist is much easier than a
Yeah, I mean,
press.
I've tried... We're in Portugal, it's 40 degrees, we're very... I've got myself a large vodka, and, God, that would be good, wouldn't it? If I don't drink.
Yeah. We wouldn't be talking to you, you'd be asleep.
No, but I've tried leaving the car at sort of 24 degrees when we're in 40, and you sort of get in and you automatically whack it, even though it probably doesn't matter.
No, you do have to change it, so I think a simple twist is much easier.
So that's the only thing I don't like about that car, but it's not a deal breaker for me.
No, everything else is beautiful, in fact, I'd say.
So what else have we thought of? Let's have a look.
We have got a Citroen up next.
Let's do it.
Let's have a look. We're liking that.
I'm liking that.
I'm liking that.
I'm not Citroen's biggest fan of late, and I'm liking that.
I've always liked the cactus, and the front of it is very cactus for me.
Yeah, and it's got the little blue accents.
It has.
I'm assuming that's the soft, bumpy strip at the bottom.
Yes, it could well be, but it's quite...
Which is going to be...
somewhere down there.
Somewhere down there.
But it's a very stylish car, actually, isn't it?
I think it looks absolutely cracking.
Yes, and I saw in that video we just watched, they're promoting smooth comfort as he was driving on the cobbles with his coffee and you can't beat a smooth ride. You really can't.
No, I mean, this is why it's reasonably good, because you are a young man with a man bun.
A young man.
I can only apologise about that.
Well, at least I've got some hair, eh?
Yeah, true. And I'm old. I do like a smooth ride.
Yep, I like smooth ride. Even though I like to go around a corner, it's nice to have a smooth ride in general. And I think that car looks very, very well made.
And extremely sexy.
It is very sexy, actually. I'm quite liking it.
So same sort of figures and performance as the
Fiat, actually, isn't it? Very similar.
Yep.
30,000 in England starting price.
Which isn't a bad price.
No, it's not, actually.
That's a very good. I mean, I'm assuming that one we've just seen you won't get for 30, but
no, you wouldn't have thought so. But
surely it's going to be around there.
It is. It's still a reasonable price, isn't it?
And what I have noticed, because I genuinely do think that the Peugeot, which is why it's not in here, the 208 and Citroens,
they had the same interface.
The interface is literally dangerous.
Yes, you have to look and go through so many settings.
They've got knobs back.
Also, they have 3 buttons. Well, 3 knobs.
So they got the knobs back now. What 100%? I'm sure that's your heating.
Well, I'd hope so.
But that's all you need. You've got some knobs, and then where the gear selector would normally be, there's some extra buttons, and we're not 100% sure what they're doing, but I'm assuming they're the ride and maybe the big sunroof, because that
sunroof did look good. Yes,
I like that car.
And the screens, the screens aren't too much, because in some cars they've got massive screens.
We'll come on to that.
That's a very sexy screen in the middle there.
At the end, we've got a section where we've put the stats close to compare, so again, you can judge forward on that one. But that interior, I'm liking that. No. Citroen make a nice seat as well, normally very comfortable.
Yes, it's looking like a very good overall car.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next one now.
Let's do it.
Power がインテリジェント Design and space is intelligent. 究極の日産インテリジェントモビリティ
Short and sweet.
Very short, very sweet. But that's an interesting design, actually, isn't it? Very different for Nissan.
Yeah, nice.
They've been quite similar on all their designs for the last few years, and that's certainly pushing the boat out, I'd say.
On a Fully Charged review that I watched, he was explaining, because they did a release of this online because of the virus,
right?
But he was explaining that obviously they brought the Leaf out, and it's taken them 10 years to bring their next one out.
Wow.
They're now bringing one out every 6 months, a new electric vehicle every 6 months, and they're bringing 8 out.
Awesome.
And this is the first one. So
well, they're doing a good job.
And going back to what we said at the beginning, if you could have been bothered to watch that, if they're bringing out that many electric vehicles over the next 2 years, in 5 years' time, petrol cars and diesel cars are finished.
Yeah, exactly. The electric market is just shooting up, isn't it? And there's no reason for it not to. I mean, it is just, everything about it is very good.
Yeah. So this one's quite pricey.
It's quick as well, though.
It's incredibly quick.
Yeah, it's a big car to be launching at that speed as well.
And whatever anybody says, they've got 10 years experience in that Leaf. They'll know what people want. They'll know what people expect.
Yes, Nissan have always been there. When I've always thought of an electric car, I think of a Renault Zoe, Nissan Leaf. They're the two that pop into my head.
You do.
Because they've always been around. But the stats on this are actually quite impressive, aren't they?
Yeah. So, and again, we've tried to pick cars that you could at least buy or order today.
Yes.
And that's why some, if you're wondering why some cars are there and some aren't, and then others like the Peugeots, I've discounted because I personally wouldn't buy them, so I don't really want to discuss them.
Okay.
And we've done it in the past.
No, I tend to agree. And all the interiors are getting very, very nice.
Again, that one, the wood finish, one assumes it can't be wood to have those capacitive buttons in, but I like it.
Yeah, they are. That's a very cool touch. I haven't seen that before.
No.
The start button's clean. In the wood's very, very clever idea. I like that.
Yeah, I like the accent going through, which body colour accent going through, and obviously there's a knob in the middle. I don't know quite what that does. It looks like it could be the volume button.
Yes, and the screens are very Mercedes.
Yes.
They look like the S-Class and the E-Class, or their new range. They've got those double screens connected. Very nice.
Very nice. Quite a wide pillar on the where it joins the, so I'm going to be pointing over there, aren't I?
Yes.
So where it joins that could be an issue, but the frameless mirror I like the little silver accent in the bottom of the steering wheel.
Everything about it, actually.
Excuse me, I like it.
Yeah, it all looks fantastic.
Yeah, I like that.
And now we're moving on to our next one.
Driving-wise, this vehicle is just superb, you know. It's so agile, crisp steering, great performance, nice acceleration. It feels so light and agile, low center of gravity, even out very well. It's so much fun to drive this car. It drives like a sports car, although it does not look like it at all. So hardware driving-wise, from dynamics, really great. Of course, a little bit stiff here with the normal suspension and the 20-inch wheels. It will be even better soon with the adaptive suspension and a little bit smaller wheels. So driving-wise, great, and also good that they built the electric motors themselves. So, but then, you know, the crucial point, the interior. I mean, on the one hand, good build quality, but then on the other hand, some materials there from the hard pack materials, they need to be upgraded. A little bit more premium feeling for that would be needed. And of course, the software and the control input. So, you know, there has been a lot of thought about that and they want to create something new. But it's too complicated. It is not intuitive at all. That's, I think, the biggest issue with this vehicle. So we can say, what is the answer of the German automotive industry here from the VW main plant in Wolfsburg? Well, they say hardware-wise, we are still on it. We can still build the best cars as for the hardware, for driving dynamics and so on. And this is so true for this vehicle. It also has the best door closing sound. But software-wise, they're really behind, for example, Tesla. We've recently seen the Polestar 2 with the Android integration in the screen. So simple to use and so on. So software-wise, they really need to step up the game. This cannot be the answer from the German automotive industry.
That's an interesting video, isn't it, Thomas? He did a very good one on that. We both watched that.
If you're interested in that car, Autogefuhl, we'll put the link in.
Yes.
He does an hour-long...
he goes through everything, doesn't he?
He goes through everything, and he's a little... I mean, I wouldn't say... He always says he's not German biased, but he likes...
He slightly is.
Well, he's slightly probably like we are, because he likes German cars, and I do.
Oh, no, I can understand exactly why. But his thoughts were quite interesting on that.
Very interesting, and very similar to what we've had.
We've predicted, didn't we? We've done a video, 3 videos on these. It's been in our competition.
Yes.
But we did a longer video on this, and we did discuss the interior, what we thought, which we can show in a second. Yes, good video I think we did on that. And he was saying that it drives very well, which we didn't. Obviously, we wouldn't know that.
We wouldn't know that, but I mean, it's rear-wheel drive. It's going to be, it's a small car, rear-wheel drive, quite powerful. It's going to be a laugh, and Volkswagen make great cars.
Yes, as we know, we've seen.
But I've got to say, I love the white steering wheel.
Yes, you've got a bit of a thing for white steering wheel since you've had it in the Fiat.
Yeah, I mean, other than I'm always cleaning it,
yes.
But I really like, and that interior with the white one, I like it.
Yeah, it does look good, I can't deny. And we're looking at stats now. So we've got 7.3 seconds to 60, electric range 340 kilometres. It's a good range. And price is fairly reasonable as well, 35,000. A bit more expensive. But again, it's a Volkswagen, so it's going to be a little bit more, I'd say.
Thomas at Autogefuhl, if you've never watched him, I would say he's got to be one of the better reporters and car experts.
He knows a lot about the cars.
He does.
I mean, he knows the ins and outs of all the cars he reviews.
He does. We haven't put him up on the Polestar, which is coming up in a moment. But I mean, I would say that Thomas is possibly the most comprehensive and probably well respected now motoring journalist in the industry. So if you've not watched any of their videos, I highly recommend you do, and I think you'll get a very, very good, honest report of all cars.
He's very neutral, isn't he? He looks at everything in...
You can't help but like certain cars, can you? And
no.
He does quite like driving quickly.
Yes, as everyone does. But this car, that's looking nice. I like it. I mean, the problem is all the interiors look very nice on these new cars. They're all very similar. Not too big centre consoles. Very simplistic design. I mean,
I think the lights in there look good. I think it looks really good. And I think the surprising thing for me, rather than you expect Volkswagen and Mercedes to push the boundaries of everything, and that Citroen's made me think it's interesting that clearly Peugeot are going away now from their hideous keep touching me,
multiple
functions. And Volkswagen have just launched with a now dated system.
Yes, they have.
That the others are moving away from. So they've put all their eggs in one basket to a certain degree in this. I mean, the Model 3 stands for their third most important car in their history. Beetle is number 1, Golf's number 2. The 3 means this is the third most important car in our history.
Yes.
And they've fucked up on that dashboard.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is true.
The buttons and everything, they have made a massive, massive mistake.
Yes, and in Thomas's review, he goes on a long speech about that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Talk
so it's definitely worth looking. If you're thinking of buying one, that may be maybe the best driving car of all the ones we have here. We can't comment on that. It could be, but on a day-to-day use, when you're in that
inside,
sliding buttons up.
Yep, could be an issue.
Not sure.
So let's compare it to the next one.
Misaligned.
The whole quarter panel. Do you misalign
That's not misaligned. That looks like it's been.
That looks like it had a rear accident. Yeah. And they haven't fixed it properly.
Now I edited that bit out of a TFL again. If you don't watch American channel, now they've bought 3 Teslas with their own money, so they've had them on long term. They've had a 3 which they crashed.
Yes, a 3.
They've had an X, and now they've just dropped the X for this Model Y. And I edited that bit in because I could not live with that.
No, you couldn't live with the smallest things, let alone that, and that's massive.
That would absolutely mentally ruin me. That would have to be repaired.
Oh, it would be incredibly annoying to see that on a brand new car. It's unacceptable, really.
You see, I can guarantee you that if we went to pick that car up brand new, I wouldn't even drive it off the forecourt.
No, neither would I. I wouldn't have done that. If you're paying, you're paying top money for a Tesla.
Yep.
Top car, it doesn't matter what car it is, if it's new it shouldn't have that issue.
Well, that's unacceptable.
It is.
If that's systematic of what their car quality is like, that's a deal breaker for me.
It is.
And you know I like a Tesla.
Yes, well no, we love Teslas, but they've said they have problems with their 3 for quality, and this is proper bad quality.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe he's not. I mean, most of their cars on TFL know it is a criticism. They're dirty, and we're cleanliness freaks.
We are.
So I noticed that because I'd be at that with my paintbrush and my vacuum cleaner. But
you can't take a hammer to a new car and bash that back into place.
And the other thing, I did the door handle. That would really irritate. I know that you can obviously put your thumb, it comes out and you put your hand. I like a door handle.
No, you see, for me here, I think they look lovely. They look really nice. Yes. But the actual usage of it just wouldn't work properly.
Our Volkswagen door handle, spectacular.
Perfect.
You put your hand in,
it unlocks.
It opens, and you just pull it, and it works. And it's nice looking. I can get hold of it.
Yes.
I don't want that.
Because I'm thinking, I was looking at that handle, and if you had your shopping in one hand and you went to put it in the back, you'd have to have your left hand. Because if you went to use your right, you'd have to do that, wouldn't you?
Well, just that handle is pointless.
No, it doesn't work.
I know on the other Teslas, as you walk up to it, it motors
comes out.
So that's
and on
a
Range Rovers
cost-cutting
as well.
And I don't like it on the Range Rover.
No.
I don't like that coming out. And
no, it just needs to be there.
It's something to go wrong.
Yep.
If that saves you a litre of fuel over 50,0and miles,
yeah,
I doubt.
The most, yeah.
It'll probably go wrong before it saved you any. I just don't like it. So I thought that the Model Y was going to be right up there. If I go back to put myself in the UK, I'm doing my old job, that would be right up there. Right up there, yes, because it's practical. I can get some stuff in the back,
and you'd look back at it.
I'd look back at that. But if that's systematic of the build quality, and I've sat in those Model 3s and I love them.
Oh, yeah, they're lovely.
Absolutely love them.
But that to me does seem a bit strange. That quarter panel bit does feel a bit strange. But 54,000, you're not paying little money here. We're moving up to big bucks.
It's the most expensive we've got, I think.
It is, but the performance, fantastic. The whole car is fantastic.
The economy,
it's 425 kilometres. Outguns the rest.
Outguns them, and the fast charge speed that it does.
Yes.
And again, I would have to weigh up that little misalignment, shall we call it, over the network of superchargers.
Yes.
So if I was doing my job, I would probably have to forgo that.
Oh yeah, I tend to agree. Yes.
I think I would have. That's what I'd have to wrestle in my head.
Yeah. it's just the infrastructure and everything Tesla have got. They have got it spot on. So,
yeah, it is.
Like you say, it's a bit of a lenient question.
And we know we've both been in these, and we love them.
Yeah, it's just they're comfortable, and to be fair, the insides ooze quality, don't they?
They do. They do.
There's nothing about them inside that I don't like. Everything works. It's very simple. Just one screen.
Those two buttons on the steering wheel.
Very smart buttons. They
work incredibly well, and it's for a one screen hater, which I am, and a no button hater. There is something, and I don't know quite how they've done it, but it works.
It does. I think it's because the screen is so massive.
Yeah.
You can see it much easier. Where the Peugeot we're looking at, the screen's sort of a tablet size.
Yes.
We're talking a computer size.
Yeah,
here.
you can almost get.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I've had that Model S.
Yes.
For a period, and the Model S, I just drooled, didn't I? I loved it. I loved it.
Everything about it does well.
And we're talking quite a few years ago now.
Yeah.
But the performance was there. The build quality of that Model S, and we're going back to, what would we say? 2016, 17,
yeah.
And it was great.
Yes.
It was great. But, you know, they've got more experience, TfL, than me.
Yes.
And he's commented on the quality on all of them.
On all of them, yes, which doesn't sit well with us.
No, and they're not the only people who've criticised it.
Not.
We've watched enough to now know. But I from my own personal usage of that S, it was great. And the interior felt great, and nothing felt a bit.
No, and that car would be right up there in your purchasing list for a long distance driver.
Tesla would be.
Yeah. So let's have a look at the next one, shall we?
Starting our journey in a very appropriate place for this car, the Dalesford Organic Farm Shop in Oxfordshire, which is exquisite, beautiful food, has chargers in the car park. You know, it's exquisite. It's a middle-class fantasy world, and in a way that's entirely appropriate for this car, because this car is exquisite. It's vegan, it's organic, it's fabulous, it is really, really beautiful. I'm slightly overwhelmed, and I'm going to get over it. So this is the Polestar 2, and this is fully charged.
That's a massive one, this, for us, isn't it? We love that Polestar.
The interesting one, so this is Fully Charged review. Now, if you've never watched Fully Charged, that's Robert Llewellyn from Red Dwarf fame.
Yes.
So he's really into his electric cars, isn't he?
He's
got
whole
a 10-year-old
about
Leaf.
them.
Yeah,
yes.
And he runs a model. He had a Model S, and he's now running a Model 3. So he's worth watching for his. He's not really into cars, is he?
No,
no. He's not a car person.
No, he's just more into the electric
and saving the planet.
Yeah, he loves that sort of thing.
And his answer about the Polestar was it's exquisite.
Yes, and he's driven a lot of cars.
A lot of cars. And then if you watch Autogefuhl's review of the Polestar, his sum up of it's unbelievably amazing.
Yeah.
And you don't normally get journalists,
because they've seen it all.
They've seen it all, and to have something hit them that hard that it's that good.
There must be something about that is just must be the feeling. It does look and ooze quality.
There's a completely different league when you look inside that to everything else I think we've looked at.
Much more luxurious, I'd have said.
Yeah.
And just by the gear stick, you see it sort of had the hole in the middle, and it just looks very nice to hold.
It's a cracking looking vehicle. Stats are good too. It's quick.
It is, yeah. It looks quick.
Looks quick, is quick. One of the things that you can get on a Polestar is Olin suspension.
Right.
And I know that from my motorbike days.
Okay.
But they're saying that makes it quite stiff and racetrack ready.
Really?
Yeah.
It doesn't look quite like that.
Racetrack ready.
Wow.
So I think that's an option I certainly wouldn't go for.
No,
you
no,
might,
I
but
probably would.
I certainly wouldn't.
Yes, but it's got the power, 660 newton meters. That's going to give a proper punch.
Yeah, because if you notice, it's got the gold seat belts.
Yes.
It's got the gold brake, and Öhlins colour is gold.
Oh, okay.
So it'll have gold Öhlins, and they normally have a separate tank for the oils and whatever you in there, and they're beautifully anodized gold.
Right. Oh, that's good. That would look nice on that.
It will look nice. You've got to get under. And the other thing with the Öhlins is, which again, I don't know why on a Polestar you do it. It's adjustable, but it's adjustable with a spanner in a workshop.
Really? Oh,
but
so you think it would be the same on this?
No, it is. That's on that.
Right.
No, that is on that Polestar.
Oh, it's not a button.
No. If you want to change your suspension, you've got to physically do it.
Oh.
If you choose this Öhlins option,
proper suspension.
Proper suspension. They say it's racetrack ready.
Wow. Oh, you wouldn't expect that.
No.
I didn't expect that. Look at it.
What can you say?
The screen in the video clip we saw looked very simple. Big numbers at the bottom for your temperature. Had just a couple of buttons, not much. It looked very simple.
And I suppose we've got to need to make it clear that this is the first ever vehicle not to use manufacturer's software. It's driven by Android.
Android, yes, and multiple people have reviewed it, said it's simple to use. Which
Thomas is again, because we've not used it. Thomas is an iPhone man, and he thought this was sensational. But Apple CarPlay will be available. It's obviously Android Auto isn't, because it is Android Auto.
Yes, yeah, it is just Android.
So they've again changed. This car is a game-changing vehicle,
and the way people go on about it, it just must be fantastic, and it does look it.
I mean, we've been in the new breed of Volvo, and my only criticism probably of this car is I think I'd like it to have been called a Volvo.
Yes, I think I do like the Volvo badge,
and I like the Volvo name. But to me, where do they go from here? Because does Polestar kill Volvo?
No idea. That would be very interesting to see, actually. Yes, I'm not entirely sure, but like you say, game changer, that car.
I agree.
Total game changer.
And I take that. It's there.
It is.
But I like this one.
I like this one too.
People don't think about electric vehicles in winter because there really isn't an electric vehicle out there that satisfies the needs of an all-wheel drive SUV in winter. And the Mach-E, for the first time, really does satisfy those needs. The all-wheel drive's ability to adapt to changing conditions. That means that if you happen to be in a higher grip condition, like on a highway or something, you have all that acceleration. But as soon as you turn off of that highway onto a snow-covered road, you have the control that you would expect.
But that's a looker.
It is. Very controversial as well, isn't it? People, hardcore Mustang men, don't like it, but I think it's a great one.
I'm not a hardcore Mustang man.
No, and this is interesting because the last generation of Ford, I would say that the looks outside are nice, but the infotainment and inside didn't quite do it for me. And this one, if we have a look in a minute, is very nice interior.
Well, the Focus that we had at work, again, that's my most recent thing. Well, we had a Mondeo and a Focus.
Yes.
The Focus I did more miles in. I mean, it just looked like you got buttons and
just throwing them with glue.
And there was hundreds of them.
Oh yeah, they were everywhere.
They were everywhere.
Sort of
it had that Sony.
It did.
And there was buttons. In fact, I couldn't tell you.
No, it didn't look good.
No, it didn't.
This one certainly does. So looking at the stats here, the pricing's pretty reasonable.
It's not bad.
They're all around the same. It's a lot cheaper than a Tesla though.
It is. Yeah, it's 8,000, isn't it?
Yes, and the performance is, I'd say,
range is good.
Par. Very good range.
I mean, 7 seconds. That 0 to 60 is almost irrelevant. It's like 30 to 70.
Yeah, you don't stop at a set of traffic lights and just go from there.
You do, but
well, yeah, I do, but
you do.
You wouldn't. A normal person wouldn't.
Yeah, well, no, you grow out of it.
Yes,
I think we've all done it, but it's a 100 kilowatt battery, so it's a fair size.
It is, and that's why you get the range. They've gone for economic rather than performance.
Yes,
more than that, I think. But this is an interesting interior here because you've got buttons,
a great big knob,
dials. You've got the knob for your gear selector. I like that.
Yeah,
and you've got a knob in the screen. which is interesting. I haven't seen that before.
No.
Whether that works well or not.
Well, the reviews I've seen, it's the biggest compliment that this car's been given, again, is its infotainment system. Now,
Yes.
how it compares to the Android one,
We don't know. But it's...
no.
I would say it looks on par with the rest. Quite tall, isn't it? It comes up
It's a big old screen.
very high, but the actual layout looks very nice, and I think the knob's a very good addition to the interior.
The Polestar has made me realise
Yes.
that, and I think it's age, so it'll be interesting to see what you say, that interior and the Tesla interior don't have the class of the Polestar.
No, the Polestar does have something about it of quality.
And I think I'm swayed by that.
I do think the Tesla, the interior looks more luxurious than this one, in my own opinion, I would say.
Yes.
This one does, it does, I suppose I might be a bit of a badge snob there, it does look like a Ford. The colours, the blue on the dials, they've always had blue.
Yeah, the brownie leather, the brownie sort of colour is a bit Ford.
Yes, it sort of just is Ford to me, but I need to sit in one. I think that would be the sway for me. I'd need to sit in it and have a fiddle.
We've, normally for your mum, she's had a couple of new cars, hasn't she? We spent quite a bit of time choosing in fact, before we left to come to emigrate here, we spent quite a lot of time going around the dealers deciding what car we'd buy when we got here.
Yes.
And we kept going back to that Focus, didn't we?
Yes,
no, Fiesta, sorry.
The new Fiesta, yes.
We really wanted a Fiesta, but we could never quite buy a Ford.
No, I don't know
why.
No, I can't remember why. I mean, we must have gone in that Ford dealer 10 times.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
The man knew us by name.
Yeah. I mean, it was embarrassing, wasn't it?
It was, but I don't know why. Yeah, we never got round to buying that. Not entirely sure.
And at work, I never had...
a
the
Ford.
last Ford I had was a Ford Escort RS Turbo.
Yeah, probably that's a few
years.
years.
I was 23.
Long time ago then. Yeah, very long time ago.
And there's no reason. I mean, I've had them as cars, work cars. I've used them, but I haven't personally, with my own cash, gone and bought one.
No, so that might be acquired taste, mightn't it?
And the only thing, again, this one, I'm pleased. I like the Mustang bit. There's not a Ford logo on it, which is not. Ford doesn't bother me. I quite like Ford.
I do prefer the horse logo to the Ford.
The Ford logo,
the blue, I'm not so keen on. But other than that, I think it's a cracking looking car.
Yeah, no, I'm liking this one.
High up on the list. But the next one's certainly interesting.
Come to Byton. Please welcome the Byton M-Byte. The Byton M-Byte is a platform for life in a world beyond driving. The highlight is, of course, into the vehicle.
We had one main focus, and that were our users.
Our 5-dimensional system gives the customer an intuitive and equal experience for both the driver and passenger.
It is all about productivity in the car. It is really about well-being, but it's also about entertainment.
Today, we are launching our Byton Developer Program.
We jumped at the chance to partner with Access and Byton to bring the in-car entertainment experience to life with some of our leading content across the newly combined Viacom CBS portfolio.
We have already successfully started collaborations with 6 companies: Aikido, AccuWeather, McSperry, CloudCar, Road.Travel. Happy to announce that we have a partnership with Garmin.
We are ready for mass production, and we also recognize the revolutionary breakthrough in the EV market and have partnered to develop stationary energy storage systems. I'm proud to announce that we have secured 2 additional key pillars for our Series C funding, welcoming new investors from Korea and from Japan. With the Byton M-Byte, the future arrived today. The timing is right, the market is ready for an alternative premium electric vehicle, and we at Byton are ready to offer exactly that.
Leaves us a bit speechless, that one. Outside, cracking looking car, very different.
Love the lights.
Yes, those front lights remind me of a Ford F-150 truck. They have those sort of 2...
And those little slashes light up.
Yes, that's very... And the rear lights were very classy as well. But the inside's the main focal point, isn't it? It's ridiculous, I think, to say the least.
It's one of those vehicles that apparently they've delayed the launch because of the virus. It's going to be available in the UK almost now, but it's a relative product. It's made in China.
Yes.
It's a Chinese car. You can't argue with that.
No.
So's the Polestar.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they make things very well. So,
and the technology in this car apparently is, and someone told, a friend of mine, I sat in that. I didn't realise I had, but I sat in that at a motor show.
Oh, right.
The prototype, or the,
yes,
you know, as
the
they,
concept.
Yeah, the concept. And I remember being overwhelmed by it, but never thought it would be made.
No, didn't think about production.
No, never thought at all. And it's got some good stats. It's quick.
Yes,
it's
they're
expensive.
all on par with each other, really, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Reasonably priced as well, which is,
for what you're getting.
I did think it might be a bit more, as it's a newer vehicle and they're not a well-known company, but they certainly have the funding.
No, I mean, we put a bit of information here because obviously no one's heard of them.
No one's heard at all.
So the company are...
Hang on, yeah.
Yeah, so they're founded in 2016 by a couple of BMW executives, and the key to it is that the Ford Group, which is First Automobile Works, is basically the Chinese government. So they are very, very well funded.
Yes.
So I think if you asked me, would I put my hard-earned money into a Byton, I'd be a bit nervous.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, where am I going to get it serviced?
True.
All the bits and pieces, but one assumes they're
that
going
will all come into play. You'd have thought.
I mean, Tesla have sorted it, so
they have, and I suppose they're in the same sort of position as this. And this is where the discussion starts, because how many screens can you fit in a car?
That's their promotional video, and they are saying they've partnered with all of these companies, but they're all television related.
Yes, they were showing a lot. I saw
weather apps and Netflix.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I want to drive a car. I don't want to sit and watch TV.
No, it's almost like they've based it off of a cinema, isn't it?
It is, and that car, to me, if you've got to drive it, I don't get it.
No, I suppose you'd expect that to have autopilot.
Because you're going to be watching Netflix.
Well, the screen's the size of the windscreen, isn't it? And at night time, I would have thought that would be a massive distraction.
I'd have to sit in it again and refresh my memory. I'd have to drive that, like you say, at night. But the screen in the steering wheel,
it's detachable, isn't it?
Apparently,
and hand it around the car as a tablet.
I don't really fully understand what they're trying to achieve here. If somebody's got to actually hold that steering wheel.
Yes, yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but I think that would take a seriously amount of the longest time to understand and learn everything about that car. The amount of things in it.
See, they're saying that it's all intuitive and it's the best thing since sliced bread as far as ease of use is concerned. I'm an old boy.
Yeah.
That looks raw to me.
And even me, I have no idea I wouldn't know where to start with that.
But it's got to be, and there's going to be people who watch this who are tech freaks.
Yes, yeah.
That's got to be your car.
Oh, it has, yeah. No, very true.
I mean, you must be that if you were a tech man.
Yes.
I mean, Uncle Mark.
Yes.
He'd wet his pants if he saw that, wouldn't he?
Oh, you would. He's obsessed with technology.
And computers, he wants. Yeah.
If you're smart enough, that would be a fantastic car.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we are.
No, I mean, these whichever side it is, you got the look like an elderly couple cuddling in the corner.
Yes.
What do I want that on the dashboard for? I mean,
no idea.
Am I missing something?
I mean, you've got the temperature. Everything just looks very small on that screen because it's so massive.
So they're saying, look, the temperature's getting hot. This two old couple are going to get it right on.
I guess so.
It's getting hot.
But I'm thinking, how would you? The only reason that screen would be handy is if you were charging, you could watch Netflix or something.
Yes.
That's the only reason I could think of that. It's like the Honda, the EV Honda, the small one, on steroids, isn't it?
And the more
that one was big.
And the more I look at the Honda, the less I like. I love the outside.
Yeah.
But this one, my positives are that those seats look awesome.
They do.
And they're the two types you can see there. The steering wheel's pig ugly.
Yes.
I love the screen on the arm.
On the arm, that's nice.
Get my arm there. And I think that looks nice. But the dashboard terrifies me.
The display, yeah, is massive.
What I thought would happen is that
it would go
and be gone.
That would be nice, actually. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. That would be quite nice.
But then when I get home, do I go, I'll bring my tea and I'll sit in my car all evening and watch Netflix? I don't get it.
No, I don't think. No, don't understand.
I just don't get
at all.
it. But for tech freaks, that has to be a car.
That's for sure, yeah. So, which one would you buy? This is the £50,000 question.
For me, If I'm here in Portugal,
Yes.
I'm having the Fiat.
Okay.
You knew I would.
Yes.
And I wish it had a couple of knobs in it.
Mm-hmm.
If I was in the UK, I mean, it's Polestar or Tesla.
Okay.
Polestar looks vastly better car.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Tesla's got an infrastructure.
That's true.
You?
For me, if I was here in Portugal, I'd have the Tesla. And if I was in England, I'd have the Tesla.
Would you? What, over the Polestar?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to have to elaborate. Everyone's surprised.
Okay, because even though the Polestar looks great and everyone's raving about it, the Tesla, as we've spoken, the infrastructure and the simplicity of the interior, the Polestar's got that. But there's something about a Tesla for me, I just really like them.
Cool.
There's just something about them to me that, and that Model Y, I think, just, it looks great. It just looks like it would be very easy to own.
The Mustang?
Mustang doesn't cut it for me. There's something about it I don't like. I'm not sure whether it's the looks or the fact that it's a Ford, but I don't know. I'm not normally badge snobbed, but I think...
No, you're not, no.
No, I think it's just the looks.
Nissan?
Nissan, very similar story, I suppose. Doesn't quite cut it. They just don't cut it for me. What about you? What do you think of the
I've
Mustang?
got to say the one that surprised me the most out of them all is the Citroen.
Yes, I think you could be right.
Depending on my budget, if I had my 50,000 and I could get that Citroen with the sunroof, that Citroen for 30, and have 20,000 left over, I think I'd be pretty stupid not to do that.
I tend to agree. Yeah.
For work, I'm hesitating now, because for what I did for a living, which was abuse cars,
Yeah.
the difference here is you've got to take away, which is why I put that TFL bit in, you've got to take away your conventional thoughts that cars need a lot of servicing and go wrong.
Yes.
These don't.
No. And they're just going to keep going and going and going.
And one pedal driving is quite important to me, which I know the Polestar's very good at. I've tried that and I like it. The Citroen is the wild card in here for me, although we've got one in a minute. The Citroen is the one that's jumped out, didn't really give it a second's thought when we put this together.
No.
It was just a good priced, different, new.
Yes. It fitted the criteria.
Would I pay 20,000 more for a Polestar? If money was no object to me, yes, I would.
Yeah.
I would. But if I could have the Citroen as brand new and have 20,000 left over, which I could blow on an old S-Class.
Yeah.
Which wasn't the question in the first place.
No.
But that Citroen has surprised me. I mean, clearly the ID.3, our original thoughts of that ID.3 have been proved right.
They have, yeah, which I'm happy about because we got slated for it.
But that's the software and those buttons. I mean, when we bought the T-Cross, the reason that we bought the T-Cross was it didn't have those stupid slidey buttons in.
No, because the majority of people, I would say, would rather have a simple twisty knob.
Yeah, because we'd seen the Golf, so we saw what was coming.
We did.
And I didn't like it.
No.
And to me, the ID.3 is a new car with a 3-year proved not to work very well infotainment system, and it's out of date.
Yes.
And people haven't even got them yet.
That's very true.
And I can't see, as Thomas was saying, you can do over-the-air updates for the software, but you still can't change the fact that there's no knobs in it. You've got a slider that, depending on how much grease you've got on your finger.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hot day, you're going to be a bit sweaty, it's going to get... No.
So it's not for me. And the quality of the plastics, and again, that's Thomas's opinion, not ours, although we share it.
Yeah.
I think they're going to last, but they just don't,
but
sitting
it's all about the usage, isn't it? It's if it's annoying. I mean, you'd be gutted to get the car and every day just be annoyed. I mean, I don't like using my phone when I've got a greasy finger, or, when I'm hot. Like now, I'm very hot. I wouldn't want to, it annoys me because you mark. I mean, you'd be forever cleaning it, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But the thing is that the ID.3, which is going to be a big seller, I'm sure it is.
Oh, yeah.
The ID.3 is not that much less than the Polestar, and the Polestar beats that on absolutely everything.
Everything, yes, it does in every way.
So if
looks, quality, everything.
You know, I know people have bought those ID.3s, but if I paid for my ID.3 and that Polestar's now come out, and I would only have to chip 6,000 in to get that Polestar, I'd be gutted.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the Byton, I just don't see anything in that. That's a car that I can't bear.
No, the interior doesn't do it for me, and I think the fact that, like you say, there might not be dealers. Where do you get it? Everything, you know, I don't know. I genuinely don't know about that car.
No, but that Citroen has jumped well.
I'd take the Citroen over the ID.3.
No, any day.
For sure.
I wouldn't. It's a non-starter for me. I'd want to drive them both, and I'm pretty confident that the ID.3 would leave it on a twisty road. But at the end of the day, if you're in the UK, you don't drive like that.
No, you're sitting in a traffic jam.
I mean, we've got a lovely windy road here.
We have, yeah, lovely.
And the only thing we ever get is those stupid lycra twats on push bikes getting in our way.
Yeah.
But old Freddie Fiat carves those little canyons brilliantly.
It does, yeah, beautifully. And going back to that 500, it's a fantastic car.
Well, I'm just obsessed by them, so I'm trying not to be biased on it. But we have one more thing.
Yes, just about to introduce it.
Here we've got a vehicle comparison. So we've got so as a quick look through these, I would say if you were going to buy the Fiat, you wouldn't be thinking of buying the Tesla.
No.
So they're not really.
They're very different.
Apples.
No. But the Tesla outdoes all of them on everything, really, doesn't it? The charging rate is ridiculously fast.
It is. It is. To be fair, though, the ID.3 is 10 grand less than the Polestar. I didn't think it was quite as big a difference as that.
Yes, so it is. Yes, I suppose in this segment you sort of clump them all as the same sort of price, but they are 10 grand different.
There is 10 grand. There is £10,000 worth of difference, but there's also £6,000 worth of difference to the Citroen.
Very true.
So I think that ID.3, the badge snob probably would buy the Volkswagen. The sensible person will buy the Citroen.
Yeah, the Citroen for me is definitely a winner over the ID.3, but I think the mass majority are going to go. I think the ID.3 is going to sell very well.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it is selling well. But the Tesla for charging and infrastructure is fantastic. If you're going to do longer drives, it's cracking, isn't it?
No, and the one that struggles there on that scale is poor old Mach-E.
Mach-E, yeah.
He's too dear.
It's dear, and it doesn't compete well in the charging.
No, it's got such a big battery as well.
Yeah.
But it doesn't charge that quickly, and it's not that rapid.
No, it doesn't really have anything going for it as such.
Other than if you love the looks.
True, unless you love it. But other than that, it hasn't got anything that's going to cut it against the others.
And then the final one, which we've chucked in, if you've got your 50,000 to spend, then what you could do is buy a used Model S.
That is a good wild card. That is a good wild card. And that's a serious car. A serious car.
Well, this is the car that I'm familiar with. It's a car I lust over. I love that colour. And this is a bottom of the range one.
Yes.
And it's got a beautiful interior. It's a classy interior. I've driven, not that exact car, but I've driven that quite a lot of miles in one of those. It's effortless, it's simple, it's logical, it's, I think, well made, and you're getting that for not far off. It's not half price, but it's not far off.
Yeah, 85 grand. Someone spec'd that up and spent good money on it. And that's a very good wild card.
So that is for sale in the UK. I found it on Auto Trader. So if anyone is interested, and this, where are we? We are at the very end of July
2020.
So this will go out quickly. But that is on Auto Trader.
And it's got good options. It's got the autopilot.
And I love the interior colour, spot on.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's got the enhanced autopilot, so that car
will just drive you where you want to go.
Yeah, and it's it was performance. It was 4.7 to 60. It's economical. You've got I think this one may have free supercharging for the life of the car.
Nice.
There's a lot to be said for getting the old one.
No,
and it's old.
True.
I mean, it's only 2 years old or something like that.
Yes, it's certainly. Well, it's a good competitor because you're getting a serious amount of car for not a lot of money compared to what it was. Oh yeah.
And it's no different to buying a 5 Series.
No.
So it's no criticism of the Tesla.
No.
It's just that so you've £50,000. We've got every option. You've got 50. What's your final one? You can just have one car.
I'm having the Tesla Model Y.
And I'm having a Tesla Model S.
You're buying the used S? Thought you would. You got a little thing for those. Since you've had that one, you've always loved them. You see them, you go, oh, Tesla Model S.
Yeah, they drive so much smaller than they look. There's not a
classy,
lot,
rapid.
But it's a gnat's cock between that Polestar. If I had wanted new, then I'd have the Polestar.
The Polestar.
If I and buying used is always a risk, and that's buying it privately. So I'm hesitating, but I need to sleep on it. I'm hesitating back to that Polestar is a cracker. Here, I'm a Fiat man.
Yes.
And the surprise package for me is the Citroen.
Yes, me too. If you're looking at sort of the slightly a little bit lower money wise, that Citroen's a cracker.
Whether I would part with, if I had to spend 50, which is what we're saying, the Polestar is a better vehicle.
Yes.
But would I have that Citroen be happy and keep 20 grand in my account? I think I probably would.
Yeah, I think that's a very good call.
Not sure if this has helped anybody.
No, I don't know if it has, but we've enjoyed talking about it.
We've enjoyed talking about it, and I'm changing my mind as we're talking about it.
Yes, yeah, well, we're like that. We change our mind on cars all the time.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see what car the viewers would take. So if you've made up your mind, tell us what you'd take.
Anybody who got this far.
Yeah, anyone who's got this far, tell us what you'd drive.
Indeed, and if you're buying one, we'd like to know a little bit about it. So we are on Facebook.
We are.
So you can post pictures, you can show us what you've bought, you can tell us how stupid we are about what we would have. But again, if you have been...
Yes, thanks for watching.